There, we should be good to go. Not that one. Let's get this link. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I got live chat. Good deal. What the? What the? Freaking two-factor. You know, the things that we have to do. We have to acquire 60 code and transfer the account from device. Continue. Sorry for the delay. We're gonna get this going. I just need to share the stream there. I just have the freaking link. I hate desktop. Okay, sorry, fellas. On to what we were gonna do here is let me close this. See if I can close this as much as possible. Keep that as much close. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to go over a couple of new tricks. We got one user, that's cool. Say hello. Is this new tool that I found amazing, and it's called it's literally made by my Windows, and it's called the Reset Windows Update, and but it does more than that. And when you right click on this, I'll show you where to get this. When you're as an administrator, you get this menu here, and you hit yes, but it'll open up system protection. So that's pretty much your system restore, like you want to create a restore point, whatnot, or restore your machine. Excuse me. So like, let's assume that you have like a lot of viruses or a lot of corruption, and your machine won't even like run some of the solutions on my channel like transcript. So you just need to do a system restore because you don't want to reset your machine. This will manually open it. The option two is going to reset Windows Update components. So that's some probably the highest level Windows IT administration type stuff. It's things you never touch. Uh, and That's literally the components of the operating system. So you would hit two and it would reset that. Two would delete the temporary internet files. Three would reset. Well, it would open up Internet Explorer options, which is sometimes useful on some machines. Nobody really uses Internet Explorer anymore. But that's like where your internet options would be on like Windows Vista and 7 and before. So there's some things to check disk is on here, especially good if your hard drive's having some weird issues. It's not so common on non-removable drives, with the exception of hard disk drives. But solid state drives don't typically have that problem, but it can happen. Six is the SFC command. So normally, um, when I'll run an NFC or SFC, this is one of the last tasks I do to maintenance an OS, and it's also built into things like transcript. And it's literally SFC space / scan now, and I normally run this after the DISM tool. But what this does is it just checks all your system files, pretty much everything in System 32, and it's going to verify that if there's any of them missing or if they're corrupted from malware or installs or getting deleted one way or another. And this is very powerful, and almost every single, um, I mean, even the pro versions of paid Windows fixing software, which I don't really care for those, because most of these things are free or built into the OS anyway. It'll run the NFC, and it's one of its pro options. Its pro option is to open up the PowerShell and type SFC/scan now. I mean, the whole purpose of my channel is not to try and be some big shot YouTuber, because that's not gonna happen. I got 37 subscribers. I do got like, wow, in 2 months I think over 2,000 views on my remove all viruses and repair Windows in one step. But I can't really take a lot of credit because that was mostly transcript. There's a lot of really smart ITs that came together to build that software. But I made a tutorial to where it's easy to do, because a lot of people don't know how to run scripts or or know when to apply it. And a big part of, I think, that video success is the fact that I respond to all the comments. Day before yesterday, wife got frustrated because I spent 4 hours on the telephone with a subscriber. Actually, he didn't even subscribe. OC, you need to subscribe, bro. I spent 4 hours on the phone fixing your machine, and I also used TeamViewer and remote into his machine. So you owe me one. Okay, so here on my screen, it did not find any integrity violation. So that's what the number 6 would do, and you would do it without having to know that command. Scanning the image for component store corruption. This is basically the DISM tool, which would be dism.exe, and then there's you could do /restore health /online. And what that does is it compares your Windows install, your Windows image, with what Microsoft has. Or if you don't have online access, you could have a Windows CD, which ironically you could still get a Windows 10 CD if you know where to look. Or like a bootable flash drive of the Windows OS, or an ISO that's mounted to your drive, and you can compare your Windows installation with the legit Microsoft one. And you'll find that real useful after like a malware infection, or if you downloaded a copy of Windows that's pirated, um, because a lot of I mean, I used to do it, but I learned my lesson because people modify those Windows installs, so you're pretty much installing a malware install, um, or they'll have problems because they're kind of like customized, so they'll run that way as pirated software. Um, so they'll have problems. So anyway, that will compare your Windows image with what Microsoft has, and if it doesn't match up, it'll fix it. And the online option will get it from Windows Update. When you use the slash source option, if you Google search DISM, there's the first two articles on Google will explain all the different versions of it. And this is built into Windows. And all you have to do to get to that area, you can run it from command prompt as administrator, or you can right click on start and open up PowerShell as admin. You just have to run it from an elevated privilege and it'll work. Um, Next on this tool, this is a free tool from TechNet Microsoft. You can just download it. It's free and it's super small. Checks whether the image has been flagged as corrupted. So if you have run like transcript or any kind of like a third party application, or if the troubleshooter in Windows has determined that there's some corruption going on but he couldn't fix it, it'll check if it's corrupted, and then that'll tell you you should run the DISM tool, or maybe even a system restore, or if God forbid a reset. I really don't like doing resets or reinstalling Windows unless somebody's registry is so messed up that um, there's just no way to fix the operating system because the registry is saying what the serial numbers of hard drives are, where the location of different disks are, where what to boot from, where everything, what driver goes to what. So that's really messed up. Registry cleaners and registry tools like CCleaner, which by the way I don't use CCleaner anymore. It gets flagged as malware because it's owned by a Chinese company now. I do use Glary tools now, but you can actually use this tool to. But all of those, they don't really fix registry errors. They just, if you installed a program, like let's say you installed Microsoft Word, and then you uninstalled it, well, it's gonna make sure um, that there's nothing left behind that doesn't go along with it. That like maybe there's a bunch of stuff saying that it's still installed. Hey, we need to get some more shares. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. You know what? This is our first. Let's see. We can. Stream says is good. I don't know. I don't know. I got 400 megabits. Pretty good. So anyway, back to this tool. Um, it just deletes the registry values that don't go to anything. So if you uninstalled Word, or you uninstalled Adobe or whatever, it's going to get rid of the registry values that are associated there because they're no longer on the machine. So it's more like cleaning empty entries. It's not going to fix a corrupted registry. And that's why I recommend that you back up your registry, which here I'll show you how to do that right now. Two ways you can do it, but the easiest way is to hit the Windows key. Well, not from this window, but from anywhere else. Do I have Windows key enabled? I think I do. I think I have it disabled for gaming purposes. There we go. Okay. So on a normal computer, Windows key plus R is to run. and then reg edit, enter, yes. And to back up your registry, you just right click on computer and click export. And then preferably you'd put this on a drive that's not your primary OS. So I think I have an SSD sitting around. So I got a whole box of flash drives. Might as well do that just for mysterious sake. Yeah. Also, get yourself a mess of, for if you're gonna be like an IT type, have a box that, has tons of flash drives for every occasion. Use you. Hopefully, there's not a Windows image on it. Running out of USB ports. What are you plugged into? You don't need to charge my headset anymore. Empty drive. Okay. So you'll just save the registry file, and what I like to do is I just like to date it. Reg backup 0909 or not 9 and underscore 9 2020. So now I know that this registry, no matter what happens, no matter how bad I mess up my machine, to restore the registry to where it was right now at this date, which is in good working order, I can just double click on that reg file and it'll completely restore the registry to where it was here, because unfortunately Windows 10 no longer backs up the registry during system restore. They say they do, and when you're doing a system restore from a restore point, it'll spend like 20 minutes saying restoring the registry. It's restoring the registry to a default known working value that Microsoft has determined is appropriate for it, but it didn't actually save your registry. Because look, I'm running a Ryzen 9, 4900H, 16 gigs DDR4 with a GeForce RTX, and it took a good 2 minutes to back up the registry. Okay, so back to this tool. If you click option 9, this one will it'll just run the DISM. Pretty much, it's gonna check if it's been flagged and then run DISM. Sometimes it runs NFC. Delete any incorrect registry values. That's basically what CCleaner does. Repairs reset WinSock settings. If you're having network issues, this is a really that it's basically doing network reset. So and that's a big time saver, because normally you'd be going into there's multiple ways to get to it. You go to start and then settings, and then network and internet, and then network reset. Or you could use the network troubleshooter and hope it gets there. But I prefer, this is just a real quick way. Force group policy update. If you're on Windows 10 Professional, you have a powerful tool called the Group Policy Editor, which I think everyone should use Windows 10 Professional, since you can lock down your system a lot better. But this is a Group Policy Editor. It lets me have a lot of control over things. So, for example, if I have OneDrive right now, I have OneDrive completely disabled. So I've under this policy, save documents to OneDrive by default, I have that disabled. Prevent OneDrive from generating network traffic until the user sends OneDrive, enabled. Prevent OneDrive files from syncing. Yes. Prevent the usage of OneDrive for storage. Yes, I have that enabled. I also deleted OneDrive by using the debloater script that's in my debloater video, which is on my channel. You guys should check it out. Okay. And what this does is, like, let's assume you made these policy changes. Like, one of the first things I do is I allow remote shell access. I'm not on a domain, so there's no administrator at the main office who needs to run shell commands, very powerful commands on my computer. So why should I leave that doorway open for a bad person to take advantage of that? So I go in here and I disable allow remote shell access. I disable the service, allow remote server management WinRM. I don't need any server, even though there isn't one since I'm not in a domain at work. I don't need that part of Windows listening for those type of requests. It's just one of those things. Remote shell is another one. Windows security. I don't mess with that. This is more about what regular users will not be allowed to touch. Windows Update. This is pretty good. There's a program I'm going to show you that makes all of this easy, so you don't have to mess with this. But long story short, if you do the force group policy update, you're going to make all of the changes, because everything done in the registry, it has to be reflected into the group policy. So you can change things through the registry or the group policy editor. On Windows 10 Home, you can only do it on the registry. Well, what if I did everything through group policy editor on Windows 10 Professional or higher, but I wanted to force it to change the registry? I could do it right there with that command. Search Windows updates, run setup diag. That's mostly a developer option issue, but you never know. Explores other local solutions, online solutions, downloads the diagnostic tools. The diagnostic tool is excuse me. That's going to reset your Windows Store and Windows Update settings. Which, by the way, option 2, very important. A lot of people have this error where they can't get Windows updates anymore. Something's broken. And that's one thing that fixes it. So this is called the Windows Reset, the Reset Windows Update tool. And really good. And I don't okay. Say hello, whoever's there, and invite your friends, and ask any kind of questions, anything you want to know. This live stream is gonna be going on for a while, and you want to know how to do something, I will teach you how to do it. The next thing I was going to teach you is a real common problem that people have with the Microsoft Store. Now, I hate the Microsoft Store, but I have to use it because I use one game, Sea of Thieves, that is an Xbox original game, but it's ported over to PC. So I have to run it. Well, sometimes it just won't work, usually because I've been messing with the OS. Well, a lot of people will have the Windows Store not work at all, and it has a lot of dependencies, and it might stop working like altogether. So there's this website which has a bunch of the stuff here. Let's see, which is the one? I think it was the 8 tips, because that was where I found blah blah. I mean, I know WSR reset. Yeah, this is where you would get the the tool that we just did. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that link, and I'm gonna go ahead and post it in the comments. So where did it go? Oh, we're wrong window, I think. There you go. Boom. Did it go? I think it did. There we go. Okay. So that'll get you the tool that we were just playing with right there. Now, a real common problem with slow machines is the startup. Now, this is not, a secret, but just right click on any empty part of the taskbar, task manager, then click over on the startup. Now, anything here, almost everything here will be enabled, but you can right click on anything here that isn't a driver or a device and disable. And I have almost everything disabled. Okay, but here is an advanced lesson. If you have such a bad infection or a corrupted Microsoft, or I don't think it's Microsoft, but let's assume that your computer just freezes when you boot, unless you're in safe mode or something, or even then, there's something you can do that can help you get access to stuff and clean viruses. Excuse me. We're going to do Control R, and this is in Home Edition as well. We're going to type ms config and hit enter. Now, a lot of people know about this one, and everyone knows about boot and everything, but check this out. Under boot, advanced options, by default, this is 1. So you're booting up with one processor. I have 8 cores, so I have 16 logical processors, so my boot up is a lot faster now. So anyway, I changed that, but here's what I was actually going to get to. Now, Services tab right here. If you click Hide All Microsoft Services, you can disable all, since all the Microsoft services are not even shown. Disable every single service that's running in the background, and then hit apply, and then reboot, and then don't be surprised if any malware that's on your machine, or software that's slowing down your machine that's not functioning, can't run for your next boot, and that can give you the opportunity to either run scans or uninstall programs. Great opportunity for that. Okay. So, and then now let me go ahead and get you the DISM. Like I said, you Google DISM. First one here is actually from Support Microsoft. And I scroll down here. My favorite command here is DISM and exe/online/cleanup image here. And let me go ahead and put that in the chat right there. There's another one. From command prompt as admin. I would say elevated command prompt, but I don't like getting all technical with everybody because Not everybody understands that, and that I don't like to be elitist. There we go. So, now you got a couple of couple of couple things going on there. All right. Says the stream is having Am I able to change the stream options? Forget. I don't know. We're fast. Checking OBS real quick, huh? Is the video bitrate a lie? Doubt it. Oh, forget it. Alright, so next tool. A lot of people don't know about this, but pretty much every Microsoft certified engineer, everyone in the development community, and real technicians, not just ones that run automation software and run virus scanners and charge you $300 and then tell you your motherboard needs to be replaced. It's pretty stupid because I've seen ladies bring in an HP laptop and they would press the power button and the little blue buttons at the front of her keyboard or next to the screen would light up, but her screen would be black and it would stay there indefinitely. It would never boot. It would just stay there. It's like hung. It would not show the splash screen, anything. Wouldn't post. And the guy said it's his motherboard and it's going to cost her $200 and plus whatever the motherboard cost, which was like $187 plus labor. And I said, can I take a look at that? And I asked, and he said, sir, I'll be right with you. And I said, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the lady. So I walked over to her and I was like, if I can fix this in 15 seconds, will you be happy? He's like, yeah. I was like, I won't even take apart your machine. And and then the guy behind the counter, he was at You Break I Fix, like Samsung's little affiliate. I just flipped the laptop upside down, popped out that little battery because it had a removable battery, made sure it wasn't plugged in, pressed the power button a few times to clear the RAM, popped the battery back in, opened the laptop, pressed the power button, booted up like normal. Poof! It's called hibernation log. But the repair industry is so messed up right now. They're so eager to just they want to treat you like as if only a mechanical engineer working for like as a car designer is qualified to safely change your tire or your oil, and it's just not true. So next trick, let's see what we could do. Oh, you guys haven't seen my pie hole. I made out of a Raspberry Pi, a Raspberry Pi 4. And then I ran, the Raspberry Pi OS on it, and then I put Pi-hole on it, and then I added, just like on a 32 gig SD card, the OS Pi hole, booted it up, plugged it into Ethernet, and then added the publicly available blacklist. And this is literally like an ad blocker. So let's log in. Dick. Okay. Whatevs. Okay. So since I've had this running, instead of having like ad blockers, like I do have uBlock Origin because this thing is still updating and it's still getting new queries. But this is just a little box that's sitting on next to my router plugged into an Ethernet cable that is working as a DNS, kind of like Google DNS or when you get from your ISP. So whenever an ad wants to come to one of my devices anywhere on my network, it first has to go through my DNS, and my DNS it'll go out to Quad 9 or to Google, whoever. So when I go out, my internet's fast. I don't get any slowdown. But ads have to go through this filter. And so instead of slowing down the security system on my firewall or on my network, I just have this little device that's just focused on comparing queries with the blacklist. And this thing's great. Here's the query log here. This is telemetry. Telemetry is terrible. Telemetry is literally spying on what you do. So it blocked that. Let's see what's going on here. You can also check if something says top permitted domains. You want everything here to be good. But see, all this is ad stuff. This is the stuff that was blocked. These are clients on my network that have that are part of this. But if I saw something here that was obviously like an ad, I can click it. And here's the Raspberry Pi 4. Raspberry Pi 4. There's an 8 gig version of this. I use the 4 gig. But yeah, this thing's like $40. It's this little computer, and this is the size of it. And you just put an SD card in it, and you can get all kinds of cool cases for it. There's the Cana case. I got one with a heat sink and a fan on it, and it didn't need it, but I did it just because I'm a geek and it was cheap. But these are little ARM processors, the kind of processors that are in like smartphones, and USB-C powered, USB 2.0, 3.0 gigabit Ethernet, and you can actually, they have dual HDMI, so you can run Windows 10 on them, barely, but they run Linux great. You can make a router out of them. You can make a NAS, a network attached storage, out of them. I made one for my dad. I have a pretty powerful NAS that I made myself out of like a Intel NUC i3 with like 32 gigs of RAM. And then I USB 3.1 into a like 4-bay RAID enclosure. So I have like 8 hard drives in there. And I used FreeNAS for that. For him, I used Raspberry Pi's NAS software, but his just had one hard drive, one powered hard drive at 3.5 inch, in an enclosure, and it's 4 terabyte. And he was streaming all his movies to his Roku or his smart TVs, and it was too slow when he was plugging it to the USB port of his router. So I just made him one of those, and then I plugged his hard drive into that, and now he can stream everywhere. So network attached storage is awesome, and you can do it out of a Raspberry Pi. Really cool stuff. Let's see what's going on in chat, if anything. No chat, no chat. It's okay. It's our first live. So we're gonna get more. And plus, I haven't been online for a while, so there's been a lot of stuff I wanted to cover, and I wanted to get more content up. but it's been a slow process. There's been a lot going on. I'm converting this room into a studio, um, but we're gonna get there. Let's see, what else could we do? What's a really cool trick you could do? Ah. Oh, the things that I do to tweak a machine out is, now you're in your My PC, right? And you have your OS drive here. It's a terabyte drive. By the way, a 2 terabyte drive is coming tomorrow. When you right click on properties, it says allow files on the drive contents to be indexed in addition to file properties. If you uncheck this and hit apply, which I'm going to after the stream, it'll index the entire drive. Indexing is something that Microsoft does to make the search feature, like right here. Like if I want to go into here and search for OneDrive, it's going to make this a little bit faster. But that's all it does. But for the sake of that, to save you 15 seconds, the drive is about, I'd say, 17% slower because of indexing. So I recommend not indexing. Another cool thing you can do, go ahead and hit the search here. If you don't have search, right click on your taskbar, click search, and you can show search icon or search hitbox. So we're going to search, and we're going to start typing turn. Okay, and it's already showed turn Windows features on or off. Now, you do want these here. Active Directory, if you knew what this was, you would know if you needed it or not. This is something that would be used on a domain computer, meaning like a government computer or a work computer, where the computer, you can't even log in unless you log into their server. So the computer wouldn't work at your house, for example, unless you connect it to VPN from work. Containers I don't recommend using because it's not Linux. It's not a VM. Data center bridging, this is if you were going to make your machine a data center. Device lockdown, this has this sounds great, but it's about as strong as the Windows password, which could take me about 5 minutes to crack your Windows password. Guarded host, it lets you run a VM to test like if something's malware, but that's not actually the way you'd want to go about it. Hyper-V on most modern processors is supported. I have it turned on because I run a few virtual machines. Internet Explorer by default is checked. I uninstall Internet Explorer 11. It is not Microsoft Edge. It's the old Internet Explorer. If you don't use it, get rid of it. You don't need it. Internet Information Services, this can be great or it can be dangerous for you. This is how you could turn your machine into a file server or a web server. So it's going to start, it'll make your computer start listening on the internet for requests. So if people could be even, trying to log into your machine because you're running a server. You're saying, I'm here and there's my ports and come request information from me. Because when you log into CNN.com, when you enter CNN.com, you're basically saying, give me the front page and give me the news, give me the pictures, and it says okay. So don't enable Internet Information Services at all unless you're going to be using your computer as a web server and you know what security precautions to take. Legacy components, if you're running a lot of really old hardware, and I'm talking pre-2005, then you might want that. Media features is literally Windows Media Player. If you use VLC or anybody else and you never use Media Player, uncheck it. It'll uninstall Media Player. No joke. And it's not going to hurt anything because every other uh, media player can play what Media Player can do. Windows Defender Application Guard. This sounds cool. It just doesn't work, so it's not worth installing. My message queue server. This is outdated, so don't activate it. It's been superseded. Print to PDF. I like it. If you don't have Adobe Acrobat Pro, it's a nice feature because instead of printing something to paper or printing it to a text document, you can print a PDF and then save it and put it on, external hard drive. Which, by the way, I recommend everyone have a NAS, network attached storage, and a mess of external hard drives to back up all your documents and stuff like that. Even bills and things. XPS writer, I don't uncheck. Print and document services you need. Multi-point connector you don't need, unless you are trying to, if you're working remotely from home and your boss needs to remotely manage apps, like if you're working on the same spreadsheet and he needs to be able to work on it also at your house over the internet. So don't enable that because it opens doorways that can be exploited. Remote differential RDC, you'd leave this alone because there's a lot of apps that do use this. Services for NFS, if you share files or transfer files with Apple computers or Linux computers, or you have a network attached storage, definitely enable this because Windows file sharing to NAS or to other machines is Samba or SMB 3.0, unless you're running 1.0 on an old machine. And NFS is significantly faster, so you could be transferring files 600 megabits for all we know, maybe gigabit even, from your computer to your network hard drive using NFS, where on SMB you'll be transferring, if you're lucky, on a really fast Wi-Fi at maybe 50, 60 megabits. On Ethernet, maybe 100 megabits. But on NFS, it's significantly faster. So if you're ever thinking of getting a network attached storage, which you should, and I'll show you a couple of good options, and you can even make your own. If you have an old computer, you can make one for free and just throw in a bunch of old hard drives in there, and you literally have your own NAS. Or you can splurge and buy a Synology. Mine's more powerful than a Synology, but it's just because I had the hardware laying around. I had an i3, mini computer with 32 gigs of RAM and an SSD in it, USB 3.0, and then I bought a $40 4-bay, RAID enclosure, and then I bought the hard drives for it. So it was actually cheaper for me since I happened to have the hardware. But if I didn't have the hardware, I would probably get a Synology, like a 4-bay NAS. And for those of you who don't know what NAS is network attached storage. I'll show you on mine here. When I go to my PC, this is a backup. These are actually on my network. And so, let me go to my PC. Let's extend this a little bit. So this one here is, it's technically an 8 terabyte drive, but it's two 4 terabyte drives that are RAID 0, so they're both combining to become one 8 terabyte drive, which makes it less reliable, but I use it as a media server. But you're allowing two hard drives to do the job of one, so it's double performance. So if I want to stream 4K or stuff fast, then I do that. Plus, I get double capacity. Um, for my backup NAS, I have half that size, and so it's a 4 terabyte drive, but there's two of them. But it's RAID 1, meaning they're two I only copy to that one 4 terabyte drive, but every time I copy to something, it copies everything to the other drive. So if one of them dies, I still have all my data, and I can just put it in another 4 terabyte drive, and it'll automatically copy it back. So it's redundancy. And then I also have a portable 5 terabyte drive that I backup it on there. I'm really big on backups because this laptop could, I mean, my computers might, get destroyed, and then I don't have all my stuff, or if, and I don't want to print everything and put it in a a lockbox or something. What if I have a fire? And the cloud, I don't trust the cloud, and I'm not saying the cloud's bad, but if I worked at Dropbox and I'm in charge of data backups, no one's stopping me from looking at your stuff. If I'm qualified to work there and I'm not, I don't even need to be qualified to work there to know how to look through everybody's stuff on Dropbox and completely cover my tracks and be undetected. So I'm not saying that happens, and I'm sure they have good work practices, but it's the cloud. You're saying, hey, random company, this is my private stuff. I trust you. Save it for me. If it was done by, we often assume that these are done by automated robots that are completely innocent, that never look through our stuff. So, anyway, Dropbox is great, but I would never put, the login info for my bank on Dropbox. The only place that I put like stuff that I can't let anyone see is where are you hiding? There's one thing I trust. It's here someplace. Oh. Well, it's on the floor over here. Let me get it. The cool thing is I can drop it and nothing happens. Okay, sorry about that, fellas. This is a Samsung T5. It's a external SSD. This particular one is it's USB-C. It's also the fastest external SSD. I think you can. I transmit huge files at like 655 megabits. I can run programs off it because it's faster than a SATA drive. Typically, because of read and seek speed. But if anybody gets this, or let's assume that I'm like one of them shady fools that's doing something, not good, and and I got all my drug dealers' numbers here or something like that. I'm just saying, if you have your private stuff, I could have all my passwords here. And anytime I plug this into my machine, let me show you what happens. It's completely encrypted, and not even Samsung can decrypt it. All they can do is restore it back to factory settings. And you lose all your data. So not even they can recover it. The encryption's so strong. So the encryption's built in. And this pops up. This T5 setup. And this window pops up. And then, you put in the. Okay, now it's open. So now I have my BitLocker freaking decryption keys and stuff like that. And, all my private stuff that you can't see. But the minute I eject this, um, I'm not saying do this because I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I'm one of the good guys. But if I had so much incriminating data on this, and someone says we've got your hard drive, I would be laughing in their face, and I'd be like, "Good luck with that," because this level of encryption would take a supercomputer from 100 years in the future, 1 billion years to decrypt. I mean, that's just how strong it is. I don't think it's a self-healing encryption. It's just that complicated. So anyway, I think these things run for like $50 now, but you can get like 2 terabyte versions of these for around 300 now. When I got this one, I think it was like 75, but then this was a couple of years ago. But I love it. It's not especially big, but it's super secure. Okay, let's go over some tools. Let's see how many viewers. Do we have any more viewers yet? Anybody watching? Okay, so we got some questions. So yeah, NAS is actually like your cloud, but your own home. Um, you're instead of having a cloud of storage space that's run on the internet, you literally have like a server or a box that has hard drives in it, and you connect to it directly over the internet. So let's assume that you have a router that's gigabit speed, or even 100, even just like a Netgear router that isn't gigabit. If you buy a modern router, you're a gigabit. You can transfer files over to that at super blazing speeds. I can install my programs off of my own NAS because it's on my network, and I'm not reliant on my networks, my internet providers, um, um, internet speed. My network speed is as fast as my router, which is gigabit. Um, that external drive, I think on Amazon. Let's find out. Let's find out. Why don't we, huh? It's dropped in price. The T5 is not is kind of it's been around for a while. It's the same uh, as uh, as the big ones, but it's just not as big. It's the Samsung T5. Ugh. And they call the other one, okay. So there you go. There's a T5. The T5 1 terabyte is 139. These are USB 3.1. And then the one I have is the 500 gig. There it is. So the 500 gig that I have is, see all buying options, $100 used. I guess they're just continuing because these things are getting not popular. But yeah, a S7 Touch. Oh, that just means there's a fingerprint reader on it. Don't get things with fingerprint readers because cops can have you handcuffed behind your back, and then just push your thumb on it, and then poof, you have it opened. Not that you have anything illegal on there, but they don't need a warrant if you accidentally touched it. You know what I'm saying? But 139 for a terabyte solid state drive from Samsung that is completely um, secure, that no one can get into without the password. And if you forget the password, you're gonna need Samsung to help you reset it. because you're not getting in it either. Say, it's, yeah, that one especially is encrypted. Not all of them are, and you can turn off the encryption. But yeah, the I use that one for encryption. I have a big, 5 terabyte, external drive that I put just my junk on, but it's not for secure. I put things that I don't want anybody to ever see. Uh, you know, like the videos of where I chopped off your boyfriend's head and wore it as a hat for a week. I mean, for my BitLocker keys. I always get those mixed up. It's a joke. Sorry. Veterans are dark. Um, but yeah, definitely it's a solid product. I want to get one. Um, which window was I in? Samsung T5. But yeah, when you go into the Samsung here and to support, um, they have a tool here um, that this is how if you lock yourself out of it. So, let's see. One of these is for resetting it. Let's see which one it is. Yeah. And they'll communicate with you. They have really great support. So if you ever lose your password, but just don't lose your password on that one, you know? Oh. What other questions do you have? What do you want to know? Anything you want to know how to do? I went over today how to fix system files. I can show that again. Um, I can go over a couple other things. I mean, what are the challenges that are you facing right now in technology in general? Because ironically, I'm not an IT. It's just kind of a hobby. I just picked this up since my dad gave me a computer when I was 6 and never put it down. I'm actually an audio engineer, so kind of into all kinds of tech. Use an external drive for my PC. So, being that it's encrypted, so useful. Yeah, I mean, me, um, with everything going to SSDs, like for example, this laptop right here, it had a terabyte drive, which is big, but it only has one slot. My previous laptop, which I gave to my sons, it had a 256 gig M.2, the slim ones, the fastest ones that came with it. But then it had a 2.5-inch empty slot, and I put a terabyte drive in there, and I was filling that up. Well, when I bought this one, it was awesome, but it only has one slot. So I went to Samsung and hit them up for the veteran discount, and I'm getting the 2 terabyte. Um, oh, great, great. Yeah, I run those scripts on every new install. And yeah, and if you guys haven't subscribed, I've actually already reached the the view hours and the clicks and all of the the I don't fully understand it all the analytics that I have to meet to be to monetize or and to where people will send me more cool stuff like this. You're actually watching me on this right now. This is the Razer Kaio, which apparently you can't get because it's being gouged by everybody. It's always sold out. The second one they sold me. The first one I gave away to a traveling evangelist going to Africa because I felt sorry for him. I didn't feel sorry for him. It was a favor. He needed it. But um, well, there's a couple other things you can do to tweak out your system. If you follow me here, you can right click on your task manager, your taskbar, and then you go over to startup. And anything here that's not a legit device or your antivirus, like for example, right here's my antivirus. Speaking of which, do you have antivirus? Um, I mean, you can disable pretty much all these, and that will boost performance too. But yeah, I could really use help on subscriptions. I need to hit 1,000 subscriptions, or I can't even start AdSense. And so um, I was grandfathered in on an old AdSense account, but they got rid of it. I think it was because I think I was 26 when I had that account, and I had some copyrighted music on there, so I made some mistakes back then. But yeah, JP Hammer. That's one thing you can do. I think I was just going over. Oh, here's what I was finishing up. SMB 1.0 you can disable unless you're file sharing with like Windows XP machines or something. I leave it on just because I help a lot of machines. Hypervisor I have turned on because I'm doing a lot of virtual machine testing lately. I'm not gonna run the Windows one. I'm running something else. Identity Foundation 3.5 has been superseded by Net 3.5. So, I mean, you need it, but once you get 4.5 through Windows Update, you don't need it anymore unless you're running really old stuff. So you can just leave this unchecked. Um, I've tested out Windows Protected File System, and what this ends up doing is weird crap. Like I would try to set a restore point, which is a normal Windows maintenance thing, and I'm an administrator. So I want to set a restore point just before I make some serious changes, so in case I mess up my machine, I can go back to where I was before I did that. And it says an administrator has denied you access to a regular Windows feature in Control Panel. So I leave that off. Windows Sandbox is something I'm playing with right now. Check this out. This is on Pro though, Windows 10 Pro. Sandbox. This runs a virtual machine, like a virtual version of Windows 10, right on top of your OS. So I could get on the internet and download like a virus or something, and then I can see if it's legit. CCleaner is no longer safe anymore, so I can just download that. But then this is not really going anywhere, so I could download it, but it's only being downloaded into this little virtual environment. Let me see what you read. Okay. Okay. By the way, everybody that's watching, ask anything you like, and I'll check it out for you. Um, so we'll go ahead and run this, and we have no antivirus on this thing. So oh, one thing I would always recommend when you come up to a setup here, it always wants you to hit install right here. Always customize. You know why? Because they're going to okay, and intelligent cookie scan means it's going to run all the time. And if you don't want this added as a right click to your recycle bin, but then here's where it gets you. Click more. Okay. Sometimes they'll be like, do you want to install the Bing bar or, McAfee or something like that? So definitely. So let's install. Oh, here we go. It wants to install AVG, and normally you would just click accept because you want to click next, next, next. AVG is a free antivirus. Let me see what you read. So helpful. I think people should see your videos more. Well, it's partly my fault. I haven't worked on it enough. I've been procrastinating, and uh, um, um, I've been getting new equipment, and I've been negotiating with a lot of manufacturers. I'm a disabled veteran, but I do an audio engineer on a limited basis, and I've been helping out a church about an hour away who needed to live stream their services. So I've been driving like twice a week up there designing their studio, and I just really need to get content going. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm starting off with some live streams, um, get letting people know I'm back and maybe getting some subscribers out of it. But I got a lot of great content that I mean apparently nobody wants you to know. I mean every single one of the things that I'm going to be releasing is stuff that are tools that are so easy to use that are often made by Microsoft specifically for their own developers, um, for working on Windows, but they'll be put into a program that you have to pay $59 for. It's dumb. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. Gonna be doing some projects on how to create a protected network. Like for example, um, almost everybody, um, you call up your internet provider, and um, you uh, they give you your modem. Sometimes they include your router, but let's just assume that you went and bought the fanciest router in the world, 379 Asus router, um, and um, it's garbage. Everybody that connects to it is what's called front facing the internet. So it would be like if you plug directly into your modem. So when you connect to a website and somebody sees your IP address, they can follow that IP address and go straight to your computer. What people should be is behind a protected network to where they can see your IP address that's coming from Comcast, Spectrum, whoever, AT&T. But then after that, is a whole bunch of IP addresses of everybody on your network, which are on a protected subnet that is invisible to the outside world, meaning you can connect out to CNN, but CNN can't connect to you. That's an unsolicited communication. And 99%, I'd say 90% of consumers are behind unprotected network where they're just getting a router that takes that one IP address from AT&T or whoever their internet is and just splits it up into IP addresses to where Windows Firewall is hopefully protecting you. Well, you could hide your IP, but the thing is uh, you VPN is one thing, but did you know that a firewall router, a real one that's not made of plastic that looks like a child's toy, costs $110 and has intrusion protection system and a firewall and has VPN support which hides your IP address, but it gives you a real one instead of spoofing it. Um, you can use a VPN to hide your internet traffic from your internet provider, or maybe to bypass GeoIP. Like if you take your laptop to Costa Rica and you want to access, Hulu or Netflix, and it says you can't access it from your country, or for any reason for privacy. Yeah, VPN services are great, but for like $110, you can get yourself a Cisco or a Ubiquiti router, which is about 4 times faster than the best router at Best Buy that costs $380, because that's a toy, and its firewall is very hardened. Um, and the enterprise level stuff is cheaper and more powerful than the consumer grade stuff, and oftentimes easier to use than the consumer grade stuff, because the consumer grade stuff makes you go through these weird, hard to understand, wizard menus, which is done. Yeah, yeah. Check check these people out. Check out the Unified Dream Machine. Actually, I think it's Ubiquiti. The Ubiquiti. Just Google search Ubiquiti, and I think it's UI, something like that. But that they're who I use. I'm about to upgrade to their better one, but I use their USG, which is about $110. That's a Unify Security Gateway, which is my router, and then I output to a switch, which is an 8-port switch, and I'm gonna get a little techie here. Pardon me, but 4 of them are regular ports just to plug into internet, but 4 of them are power over Ethernet, or PoE plus, which means you can plug them into the access points, which are their Wi-Fi routers, which are cool little discs that you might see in hospitals on the roof, or you can put on the wall like mine, and they are more powerful and faster than any Wi-Fi router out there. And you just plug that cable up there or into there, and that's your Wi-Fi. You don't have to have a combination of all these things. So the the gateway is about 110, the switch is around 100, and the access point is about 100. So for a $300 investment, well, plus you need a cloud key for about 100. For a $400 investment, you would be behind a completely protected network, and you'd also be unhackable. Because let me actually show you. I'm gonna log in. Watch my screen. I'm gonna log into my interface of my, and there's also an app for this. 0.3. So I have Unify Protect. Check this out. I can also plug in my cameras. It has, all this is built in. So, wait. The hell did I do? Oh, and I never save my passwords to my computer. Because if someone hacks me, they got me. Maybe it is at Proton Mail. No, I'm doing something wrong. Is it my old password? Anyway, I'll show you on my phone in a minute. Let me log into my network because I know that one's right. Now this is the interface. What the? Did I get hacked? I think it's my keyboard doing weird things. Let me check my app. Something being goofy. Everything's great there. That is bizarre. Okay, there we go. So, okay. Yeah, it's good. I used to write them down, but PTSD vets were paranoid. What if some guy breaks into my house and grabs that, and then 2 weeks later they're in my bank. Speaking of which, I made a good chunk of change, saving uh, saving Chase from a phishing attempt. Like, let's assume that I know your name, right? And um, I'll change that later. I call up Chase, and oh no, I call you up, and I just start like this. Hi, ma'am. Uh, I'm calling with Chase Card Services. We have a suspicious charge on your card, and it's from chickswithdicks.com, which seems suspicious. Did you authorize a purchase for $378.96? Now I'm counting on your outrage to make you not not suspect anything here. So then they're like, "No, of course not. What is that?" It's like, "Okay, I thought that was suspicious. So it's not. We can stop it here. I'm gonna go ahead and elevate this to a security matter. It's fraud. We're not gonna have to change your debit card or credit card or anything. Um, let's go ahead and get this sorted out. Can you verify the last four digits of the card, please? Okay. All right. And for security purposes, can you verify your current billing address and phone number, please? And then the person gives it to me. It's like, okay. It looks like we caught it just in time. We'll be able to stop this charge. It won't even show up as a pending charge in your statement. Okay, just a few more questions. Can you verify your date of birth and your full social, please? Now, I'm counting on you being outraged because it's odd for someone to ask for your full social. Then I call Chase. And now I'm you. And I see I can't get into my online account. They asked me all the questions I just asked you. This doesn't work anymore. Now they have like they'll text to your phone now and everything like that. But it used to. I helped them with that. They paid me some money. So anyway, this is the Unify network. This is the dashboard, kind of cute. Um, tells you everything's great, how many access points you have. This is what they look like. Statistics, all the web traffic. I think I have deep packet inspection turned off. All the clients, and under settings you have threat management, and if I turn IPS on here I can stop DNS attacks, malware, Tor attacks, user agents, peer-to-peer, restrict access to Tor. I have it disabled because I have a secondary firewall, but on the firewall, check this out. Um, any unsolicited connections are immediately rejected. So if when I contact YouTube, that's solicited. I am asking YouTube to send me stuff. When I connect to Zoom, that is solicited. I'm soliciting them for that. But when somebody finds my IP address online and sends something my way, no matter what it is, it gets dropped. It doesn't get blocked. It doesn't get traced. They're actually going to get an error that says connection not found. So it's like you don't even exist, which is better. That's called stealth. So it's better to not exist, because there's another mentality that says, I'm going to try to hack the hacker. And that's just a dumb mentality, because if you try that, they're just going to load up a botnet, which is literally watch what I can watch what I can do. Okay. Now, if I open up a whole bunch of these, and I can open up a bunch of these, and I can make them as small as I want, and I could have like 50 of them. I don't even need many computers. I can initiate an attack on you. Or better yet, if I have your IP address, I can just convince you to put an like right now I could link you to a file that is SSH dot text, and it's just a text file, and if you have it on your computer, then I can connect to you right through here. I'll just put your IP address. I don't know it. But then 168.1. I'll SSH into my own device to show you how it works. Okay, and okay, I am now logged into this device. Like a grabber. I say, yeah, I learned to switch to Firefox and how to protect my privacy better. Well, IPS is intrusion protection system. Most of them are signature based. Um, you mean like snagging their IP addresses, like to follow them back? Like, what do you mean by illegal? Oh, like an IP grabber, like an IP sniffer. Is that what you're talking about? IP sniffer is not illegal. It's what you do with them. It's whether or not they're illegal or not. Wireshark is a real common one. Um, Due to YouTube terms, I can't really give you a guide on a whole lot about it, but it is possible to install Kali Linux on a Raspberry Pi and sit in a Starbucks. And Kali Linux is if you don't know what that is a penetration testing version of Linux that there is a version for Raspberry Pi, and there's some YouTube videos out there to teach to do that. And I'm on the good guy side, so I'm more about protecting people from that. But it can be done for pen testing. As far as using Wireshark to detect who's messing with you, um, if you're behind a protected network, that won't ever need to happen because they can't follow you back unless they install malware on you. How to use command prompt and even works. Well, what command prompt you want to know how to do? Well, there's navigation commands. What would you consider to be awesome? Fixing like system files and whatnot, or check this out. That's a basic one. Well, command prompt is basically what DOS used to be. It's basically what's left over. You can do some very powerful things here. Watch this. Don't believe me, just watch. Disk part. This is a very powerful tool. Um, yeah, there's tons of things you can do here. Disk part. It opens up this. This is basically like a partition wizard. I'm gonna do something. You could delete your entire computer with this, so you gotta be careful. List disk. What I'm gonna remember that 14 gig flash drive that I backed up the registry to a little while ago. I'm gonna go ahead. It's that 14 gig, so it's disk 4. So I'm going to select disk 4, and then I can type detail disk, and I can see there's a FAT32 removable USB Kingston. Now if I type in clean, whoops, list disk. Okay, clean. Okay, now it's completely clean. There's no partitions whatsoever. So it's not even formatted. Windows can't even read it. So right now I can do is I can create partition primary. Done. And now I can format it. File system equals, it's 14 gigs, so let's go FAT32. And then we're going to do quick, otherwise this thing will take 20 minutes. Okay. And now if I list disk, now if I it's got 14 gigs and it's completely free. Yeah. And you could detail the disk and you could see the volumes on it. Like if I select disk 0, which is my C disk, I can detail disk and it's going to show me all my partitions. I got a recovery partition here and all that. I could change the drive letter. Okay, I was watching your stream and remembered how having a 2 byte from my dead PS4, I'm sure I can use it. PST as a backup drive. Uh, you could, yeah. You could use disk part and make it into an NTFS drive because it's probably formatted into an unreadable drive that Windows can't read, but disk part could make it into like a Windows capable drive. Yeah, absolutely. So what you would do is you would plug it in and you would yeah, yeah. So you would start here. So let's pretend we just started over. So this is the command prompt. You would type disk part. Be very careful with this tool because you can destroy your machine this way. Then you would list disk after you plug it in, and you would find out, by in this list here, which one it is, probably by size, capacity, um, and then you would select disk. We'll pretend it's 4, and then you'd clean. And if clean doesn't work, clean all, and that might take 30 minutes. Like clean all, that'll clean everything. But then clean, and then you'd create partition primary, and then format fs equals, and then if it's a 200 gig drive like that, and you're going to use it for Windows programs, I would either go with NTFS, or I would go with exFAT. So let's just go with exFAT. There we go. And then exit out of here. And then C backslash dr. Let's see. Let's go to E drive. D drive. B drive, F drive. I don't think I gave it a letter. Select disk 4. Select disk 4, detail disk. Okay, it's drive G, so okay, let's exit out of here. G colon, there's the drive. So now file not found because there's nothing there, but yeah, it could work. You could do that. Another cool thing you can do is this command I've talked about earlier in the video. SFC space / scan now. This is going to scan all your system files in your system32, and if there's anything that's corrupted or missing, it's going to automatically repair them. And if after the stream's over, in the beginning I show a real cool tool which you can get. Let me get it. Let's see. Make sure I'm not getting the... What's it called? Bleh. I got it right here. Reset WENG. Okay. I'll get you guys the link for this. This is a really good tool. Also made by Microsoft. But don't download the fake one. The real one is right here on gallery.technet. So it's right here. So copy. And then... Let's see where you guys at. There you guys are. There you go. That's the tool from the very beginning of the video. For those of you that are joining late. And I'll run it again real quick just to show you what it does. And I also want to show you a couple tools that that are really powerful. So stick around. That's not it. Is it? No. Is it? Oh, no, that's just one part. There it is. Man, right here, runs administrator. Okay, so this tool is freaking awesome. I closed it. Okay, runs administrator. This basically does a lot of the stuff that, you know, all the commands that I was teaching you guys. It automates them. Okay, Hellfire Gaming, how's it going? Good. How are you doing, bro? Yeah. Well, here's a whole bunch of this tool. Check it out. If you don't know how to create a restore point, just hit one, bam, right here. So you configure first. You turn it on, and you want to set a small amount. Right now, I'm using current usage. I'm gonna delete it because I'm gonna just create a new one right now. But 1%, depending on how you drive, I got 10 gigs reserved for system protection. System restore is basically like, for example, if I want to return to where my computer is right now, like if I mess up my computer in 3 months, or it's infected, I can go back to this exact state right now. Done. Boom. So that's what option 1 does. Resets Windows Update components. This is a complicated point of Windows, so it's powerful. Let me show you where this stuff is. You don't even want to mess with this stuff. It's so complicated. But if this stuff's broken, Windows is broken. So in our Windows system, and under administrative tools, under component services. Does this mean anything to you? So, well, these are basically components of the machine. And if anything's not right with them, the machine can break. So 2 can reset the Windows Update components. So, and fix it like that. Simple. You don't need to know anything. Really powerful. It's dead, by the way. What's up, dude? Are we gaming today? Yeah, these codes shouldn't be secret, Hannah. They're just... Whoa, thanks for the support, brother. Kick-ass name, by the way. Okay, and then that's done. Background intelligence services is running. I actually don't want that. Ugh. Background intelligence services is... What the heck? What the heck? See, that's what system restore is for. But guess what? I can still get to it. Yeah, man. Let's see. GP edit. Yeah, watch this. I have to do a system restore after a while. Windows, System 32. You guys get to learn some. System 32. Let's go to ms config.msc. And security. And then yeah, well, you jerker, you're now owned by Nico. So you're darn right I did. Okay, now watch this. Properties. Security. Administrator says I can't do anything. Watch this. Full control, baby. And okay, bing. Okay, now let's go to GP edit. System 2 English administrators. Trusted installer. Trusted installer is not even a real user. As long as trusted installer still has full control, nothing's gonna get hurt. Okay, so edit, and let's add Eco. Full control. Okay, now watch. Now that I fixed that, boop, ms. Oh, sorry, gp edit.msc. What? I am the owner. Respect my authority. That's okay. I'll just run it as administrator. MMC? An administrator? You know what I did it? I think I screwed it up in the components. Let me go fix that. You guys get to see some. MS program location, file origin, publisher unknown. Wait, the C drive? The C drive get protected? I got removed from the C drive, that's why. How the heck did that happen? Isn't that the weirdest thing, fellas? Hey, Salty, what's going on? Yeah, I'm always messing with my own laptop. This is my new laptop. What you up to, Salty? You been playing Roblox lately or Terraria? Nothing? You in school? You guys need to help me get subscribers. I'm already over the threshold needed for viewing hours and likes and all that stuff. I just need subscribers because I have like 8,000 hours of watch time, but I only need 1,000 subscribers and I only needed 6,000 hours of view time. So I'm going to do live streams and just do whatever people want to do. Well, just stick with a couple of these. Um, like the system file checker tool. Well, let me just type them out here. Let's see. Um, SFC scan now is perfectly safe to do 1,000 times over, and DISM and transcript actually does these for you, so no, don't sweat. But transcript doesn't do the online version of it. It does the basic one. So this is kind of like going manual. Um, yeah, these two commands here. Where'd you go? There you go. Yeah. Oops. Let me separate those. Hang on. Um, from you can do those from like the command prompt as an administrator. So you have to like run it as an administrator. The system file scanner, it's built into Windows. It's totally a self healer. It's meant for Windows self maintenance. And then DISM is an advanced one, but there's absolutely no risk. It's either going to fix Windows or leave it as it is. So there's the two commands, and I would run DISM first and then an SFC. So DISM is going to compare your Windows image to what Microsoft has, and SFC is going to just check your System32, your system files, to make sure there's nothing wrong going on with them there. If there's something wrong there, it fixes it for you. Um, show. Let's see what happened with the C drive here. I don't need page file sys. Nico. Okay, advanced. Did the MMC do it? Is it a snap in? I think I snapped in an MMC through the components. Let me undo that. Is it right there? Let me go into the event viewer. I'll be able to find out. You're trying to tell me that I can't touch anything? Watch this. No, I don't want to log into administrator account. Where I get it? Let's check my user account. Let me try from local machine. I bet you something got it find hurting model apartment. Edit find next. F3. That's gonna be easier. Let me cancel. Let me skip straight to local machine or local user. I bet you it was local user. It's right here. No, it can't be there. No, it's not there. Somebody mess with me. Volatile environment, that would be me. Nope. Console, search. I think I'm this one. No, I'm this one here. I'm in the volatile environment. Let's see, system policies. No, it's under local machine. Oops, forgot to check on you guys. You guys talking? Okay, feed these system current control set. Control. I think Microsoft or policies. Or Windows. That's odd. Who's in control of you? We're gonna look at MMC administrator. Which administrator? Quick way to find out that. Microsoft Security did that. You made me a guest? Well, who the heck let you do that? Two can play at that game. 5154. Their root user. Come in. Yeah.
Did you try the banana bread?
Not yet, son.
Okay. Are you done with this?
Yeah, thanks. The weirdest thing? Blank password? Doot, doot. Uh-oh. It's almost like getting stream sniped by someone who thinks they're a hacker. Why would there be a query for a lack of password? Unless somebody playing with me. Ha! Discord attack. Pranksters. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of backtracking as to why I suddenly had lost permissions for real basic stuff like opening up Ready Get It. It was really weird. Let me see. Let me search the entire directory. Not root, dummy. Check if there's any weird D words. Nico's allowed. That's local account. Who's restricted? Not even a restricted group. What was that one before? Can I go back? So it's getting kind of boring, guys. Feel free to like ask a question, and I'll drop what I'm doing and explain whatever, or teach you how to do some cool stuff. I got a few things to show ya. Client services. I think that's what I did. That's an easy fix. Bada bing. Now let me go fix something really quick. This is a tool I was going to show you guys. Really important. Oh, and no shut up 10. This, let's see. Okay, it didn't do anything there. Good. Good, good, good. See, that was what it did. What it did. It removed. Now let's try that again. Who did that? It was out of the MMC. But I know where that is. I use the MMC all the time. Because Explorer isn't. Let's see. Windows. Sys32. Like when I reset the components, it like didn't recognize my account. Like I could fix it by creating a new user account, but who wants to do that? MMC. To administrator. See, that doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Origin, publication, MC. But when I open up the components, then it works again. Windows is so weird. Let's go to Event Viewer. Fine, we'll go God mode. God mode. That's so bizarre. Well, I'm gonna end the stream. and then I'm going to do a system restore because I think I broke it while messing with it, trying to show you some stuff. But I'll be back on after I'm done recording, and I got a few